How much do you really know about computers? I hear all the time I'm computer illiterate, and then I start asking basic questions and it turns out they know a lot more than they thought they did. I put together a list of 100 sample questions that I'm going to break into a 5-part series, starting with the easiest stuff all the way up to technician level. So the rules are simple. In this 5-part series, there's a total of 100 questions. In this section, there will be 20 questions. Each correct answer will be worth 1 point. And after I reveal the question and the potential answers, you will have 10 seconds to lock in your answer. Now, the questions in this first part are going to be basic entry-level computer knowledge questions, and we're going to work our way up to technician level type stuff. But don't let that intimidate you. This episode is intended for beginners. And after every question, I'm going to explain the answer in plain English. And even if you get a few wrong, that's okay. This isn't about making anybody feel dumb. It's about proving that you probably know more than you think you do about computers. Let's get into it. Question number 1. Which device is primarily used to display visual information from a computer? A. Monitor. B. Keyboard. C. Scanner. D. Router. The correct answer is monitor. The monitor is the screen that displays windows, your programs, websites, photos, videos, everything else you see while you're using the computer. A laptop has a monitor built into the top half of the machine, and a desktop computer normally connects to a separate monitor. A scanner sends printed documents or photos into a computer, and a router handles your internet network traffic. Question number 2. Which mouse action normally opens a menu containing additional options for an item? A. Double-clicking. B. Right-clicking. C. Scrolling. D. Holding the left mouse button. The correct answer is B. Right-clicking. Right-clicking normally opens what's called a context menu. The available options do change depending on what you right-click. You right-click the desktop and you may see display information or personalization settings. You right-click a file and you may see options to copy, rename, delete, or view its file properties. Double-clicking usually opens an item, while holding the left button is commonly used to drag it. Here's a useful beginner tip. When you're not sure what to do with something, try right-clicking. You might find an option that you didn't know was available. Question number 3. Which component normally stores Windows, installed programs, and personal files long term? Is it A. RAM, B. SSD or hard drive, C. Processor, D. Graphics card? The correct answer is SSD or hard drive. Your storage drive holds Windows and programs and documents, all your photos, your videos, and all other files that you've either downloaded or saved to that computer. Older computers commonly use mechanical hard drives, and newer computers usually use what's called solid-state drives, or SSDs. An SSD has no moving parts and is normally much faster than a traditional spinning hard drive. RAM stores information temporarily while the computer is running, while the processor performs calculations and instructions. The storage drive is your computer's long-term storage. When the computer is shut down, the files stay on that drive. That detail will become important in a later question. Question number 4. Which device normally allows several devices in your home to share the same internet connection? Is the answer A. Modem, B. Router, C. Network adapter, D. Wi-Fi antenna? The correct answer is router. And yes, I know I kind of tricked you there for a second, but I'll explain. A router manages the network inside your home and allows multiple devices to communicate through the same internet connection. And that may include computers, phones, tablets, televisions, printers, smart devices, all that stuff. Technically, the modem connects your home to the internet provider, while the router distributes that connection to your devices. A network adapter allows one individual computer to connect to the network, but many internet providers supply one box that functions as both a modem and a router. That's why people often use these words interchangeably, even though they technically describe different things. Question number 5. Which of these devices is most commonly connected directly to a standard USB port? Is it A. Flash drive, B. Internal processor, C, desktop power supply, D, computer monitor using a display port. The correct answer is A, flash drive. USB can be used to connect flash drives, keyboards, mice, printers, webcams, phones, external drives, countless other accessories. A processor and desktop power supply are installed inside the computer. A monitor may sometimes connect through what's called USB-C, but a standard monitor connection is more commonly called HDMI or DisplayPort. And there's also different USB connector shapes. The traditional rectangular connector is usually called USB-A. The smaller connector that can be inserted in either direction is called USB-C. Question number 6. What is the primary purpose of a folder on a computer? Is it A, compress files automatically, B, organize files and other folders, C, protect files from viruses, or D, increase available storage space? The correct answer is B, organize files and other folders. Computer folders work much like physical folders in a filing cabinet. You might have one folder for family photos, another for tax documents, and another for work files. And folders can also contain additional folders, commonly called subfolders. Placing files inside a folder doesn't automatically compress them, create additional storage, or protect them from malware. It's just a file inside of a folder. Just like if you took a piece of paper and put it inside a manila folder inside of a filing cabinet. That manila folder would be a subfolder of that main folder. All it does is it just keeps things organized. And the more organized you are, the easier it's going to be to find the things that you need to back up down the road. If everything you own is literally scattered all over the computer, you're not computer illiterate. You may just be a little computer untidy. Question number 7. What is the primary job of the CPU? A, to process instructions and calculations. B, store files when the computer is turned off. C, supply electricity to the motherboard. D, connect the computer to a wireless network. The correct answer is A, process instructions and calculations. CPU stands for Central Processing Unit. It's often described as the brain of the computer because it processes instructions and performs calculations. When you open a program or edit a document, browse the internet, or play a game, the processor is handling an enormous number of instructions behind the scenes. Permanent file storage is actually handled by the SSD or hard drive. The power supply provides electrical power, and a wireless network adapter connects the machine to your network. A faster processor can complete demanding work more quickly, but the overall speed of the computer also depends on its RAM, storage drive, cooling system, and other components. Question number 8. Which type of memory normally loses its contents when the computer is completely shut down? A, RAM, B, SSD storage, C, USB flash drive, D, hard drive storage. The correct answer is A, RAM. RAM is the computer's working space. Think of your storage drive as a filing cabinet and RAM as the top of your desk. The filing cabinet stores everything long term, but when you need to work on something, you generally take it from the filing cabinet and place it on the desk. A larger desk gives you more room to work with several things at once, and in the same way, more RAM allows the computer to comfortably handle more programs and information simultaneously. But whenever you restart or completely shut down the computer, that desk gets wiped. SSDs, hard drives, and USB flash drives are designed to retain information without power. That's one reason restarting your computer can fix so many problems, because whatever is working in memory that may be an issue, when you restart, your memory starts over, like a brand new clean chalkboard. It clears all the temporary stuff away and gives you a fresh start. All right, now we're going to get into some basic troubleshooting. Question number 9. A single program suddenly freezes and stops responding. What should you normally try first? A, restart the program. B, restart the computer. C, reinstall the program. D, update the computer's BIOS. The correct answer is A, restart the program. And I know I kind of tricked you there, but let me explain. So because only one program is actually stopped working or refusing to operate, we don't necessarily want to go to the extreme of restarting the computer, because then you might have to close everything else you're working on. Let's focus on the one thing that's not working, and that's that one program. You may just need to wait a few minutes for the program to finally catch up and open. And if it doesn't, use Task Manager to just end task on it. Now, if you have a program that continually acts up or doesn't want to open properly, you might want to consider uninstalling it and then reinstalling it. Maybe it's a problem with the installation files. Now, updating the BIOS is a much more advanced procedure and would not normally be used to fix one particular frozen program. Question number 10. Which of the following is an operating system? A. Microsoft Edge. B. Windows 11. C. Microsoft 365. D. Adobe Acrobat Reader. The correct answer is B, Windows 11. The operating system is the primary software that controls the computer and allows programs to actually run. Windows is an operating system. Mac OS is an operating system. Linux is an operating system. Android and iOS are also operating systems primarily used on phones and tablets. Microsoft Edge is a web browser. Microsoft 365 is a collection of applications and services for productivity, like documents and spreadsheets and such. Adobe Acrobat Reader is used to primarily view PDF files. The operating system is basically the middleman between you and your files and the computer's hardware. So we're halfway through the test. How are you doing so far? Question number 11. You receive an unexpected email claiming that your bank account has been locked. What is the safest first response? A. Click the link and inspect the website. B. Reply and ask whether the message is genuine. C. Contact the bank using its official website or phone number. D. Download the attachment to see what it contains. The correct answer is C. Contact the bank through an official source. Unexpected messages that create panic or urgency are often what's called phishing scams. The message may claim your account has been suspended, your payment has failed, or someone has gained access to your information. And instead of clicking a link inside the message, manually visit the company's official website or call the number printed on your bank card or statement. Opening an attachment or visiting the included website may place your information or computer at risk. In fact, clicking suspicious email links or opening unexpected attachments is one of the easiest ways to accidentally infect your Windows operating system. The attachment may contain malware, or the link may take you to a fake website designed to steal your password, your bank information, or other personal details. It may also convince you to try to download malware, call a fake support number, or grant a stranger remote access to your computer. A legitimate company will never ask you for your password via email. And receiving a suspicious message does not mean your computer is infected. The danger begins when someone actually clicks on a link, downloads or opens that attachment, and then enters personal information or downloads a file, or grants someone remote access into the computer. Question number 12. What normally happens when you delete a file from the Windows desktop? A. It's permanently erased immediately. B. It is usually moved to the recycle bin. C. It is moved to the documents folder. Or D. It's converted into a hidden file. The correct answer is B. It is usually moved to the recycle bin. The recycle bin provides a temporary storage area for deleted files. If you delete something accidentally, you can normally open the recycle bin, right-click on that file, and select Restore, and that returns the file to its original location. The file is not normally moved to documents or marked as hidden. However, the recycle bin is not a backup, and it is not a safe storage folder. A lot of people intentionally place files in the recycle bin. The recycle bin is intended for files that you plan on deleting, but maybe aren't 100% sure that you want to delete it right this second. Which file extension is most commonly associated with a photograph or image? Is it A .jpg, B .mp3, C .docx, or D.exe? The correct answer is A .jpg, or what we call JPEG. A file extension is just a group of letters that appear after the final period in a file name. A JPEG or JPG is an image file. An MP3 is commonly an audio file. A docx file is normally a Microsoft Word document, and an exe file is an executable program file used by Windows. So file extensions help Windows understand what to do with a particular file. So if you double click a file that is a .jpg, your Windows is going to try to say, let's open this with the Windows Photo Viewer. Just like if you clicked on a .pdf file, Windows is going to open it with the program that automatically opens PDFs. An exe file is an executable, which means Windows says run it when you double click it. That could be anything from a legitimate program to a virus, so you got to be careful with files that have the .exe extension. Now, I generally recommend configuring Windows to show file extensions because it's turned off by default. Otherwise, a dangerous file named something like familyphoto.jpeg.exe, which could actually be a virus, may appear to you as familyphoto.jpg. The last three letters of the file name, in this case the extension, are not going to be visible, and you might accidentally click it, infect your computer with a virus. Showing the complete file name makes it much easier, in my opinion, to identify what the file actually is. Question number 14. Which of these is primarily an input device? A, keyboard. B, monitor. C, printer. D, speakers. The correct answer is A, keyboard. An input device actually sends information to your computer. A keyboard sends letters and commands. A mouse sends movement and click information. A microphone sends audio. And a webcam sends video. An output device takes information from the computer and then presents it to you. A monitor outputs an image on your screen. Speakers output sound. A printer outputs information onto paper, and some devices can perform both jobs. A touchscreen, for example, does display information as an output device, but it also detects your touch as an input device. Question number 15. Which cable is most commonly used to connect a computer directly to a router for networking? Is it A, HDMI cable, B, Ethernet cable, C, USB cable, D, DisplayPort cable? The correct answer is B, Ethernet cable. An Ethernet cable connects a computer or other device directly to a modem, router, or switch. Wi-Fi is convenient, but a wired Ethernet connection is often faster, more stable, and less susceptible to interference. HDMI and DisplayPort are primarily used for audio and video connections. And USB can connect many types of accessories and sometimes be used with network adapters, but it is not the standard cable used between a computer and a router. One clue is the Ethernet connector itself. It resembles an oversized telephone connector and normally clicks into place with a small plastic tab. We're 75% of the way done. Let's keep going. Question number 16. Which connection is commonly used to send digital video and audio from a computer to a monitor or television? Is it A, HDMI, B, Ethernet, C, SATA, D, PS2? The correct answer is A, HDMI. HDMI is commonly used to carry high-quality digital video and audio through one cable. You may find HDMI ports on computers, monitors, TVs, game consoles, streaming devices, and projectors. Ethernet is used specifically for networking. SATA is commonly used inside a computer to connect a storage drive. PS2 is an older connector used primarily for keyboards and mice. A DisplayPort can also carry digital video and audio and is especially common on desktop computers and higher-end monitors. Older monitors may use VGA, which carries an analog video signal but does not carry sound. So if a monitor is connected with HDMI but you have no picture, verify that the monitor is set to the correct HDMI input before assuming the computer is broken. Question 17. Before handling components inside a computer, which type of electrical discharge should you try to prevent? A, electrostatic discharge, B, alternating current, C, network interference, D, electromagnetic display output. The correct answer is A, electrostatic discharge. Static electricity can damage very sensitive electronic components. You may not even feel the discharge, but it can still affect RAM, your motherboard, processor, or any other hardware inside your computer. So before working inside your computer, shut it down, disconnect it from electrical power, and discharge any built-up static electricity. A technician may use what's called an anti-static wrist strap or work on an anti-static mat. At minimum, avoid working on carpet and touch a grounded metal surface before handling sensitive components. Also handle circuit boards by their edges whenever possible rather than touching the electronic components. This is commonly referred to as ESD protection, with ESD standing for electrostatic discharge. Question 18. What is the primary function of the power supply inside a desktop computer? A. Convert wall power into the voltages required by the computer. B. Store electricity so the computer can run when unplugged. C. Regulate the computer's internet connection. D. Control the speed of the processor. The correct answer is A. Convert wall power into the voltages required by the computer. The power supply unit, commonly abbreviated as PSU, takes electricity from the wall and converts it into the different voltages required by the computer's internal components. It provides power to the motherboard, processor, storage drives, graphics card, cooling fans, and all other hardware. A standard desktop power supply does not act as a battery. A separate uninterruptible power supply, or UPS, can temporarily keep a computer running during a power outage, but that's not to be confused with a surge protector. Those are two totally different things. Question number 19. Which component is primarily responsible for processing the images displayed on your monitor? A. Graphics processor. B. A network adapter. C. Storage controller. D. Power supply. The correct answer is A. The graphics processor. The graphics processor, or what's abbreviated as GPU, creates and processes the visual information that's sent to your screen. Some processors include integrated graphics, meaning basic graphics capabilities are already built into your CPU that's on your motherboard. Other computers use what's called a dedicated graphics card, which has its own processor and its own video memory. A network adapter handles network communication. A storage controller manages communication with storage devices. The power supply simply provides electrical power. Integrated graphics are normally sufficient for web browsing, office work, streaming videos, and everyday computer use. Generally, when you're looking for a computer and it's on the lower end of your budget, it's probably because it has what's known as an integrated graphics card versus a dedicated graphics card. Dedicated graphics cards are for people like me who do video editing, or people who game or need a high level of performance separate from what their CPU and internal graphics card can do. The dedicated graphics card takes the load off the CPU and can handle it by itself. So no, not every computer needs a giant graphics card with 3 fans and enough lighting to illuminate an airport runway. It just depends on what the computer is being used for. All right, if you've made it this far, we're down to the last question. Question 20. Which option provides the best protection against permanently losing an important file? A. Saving it inside the Documents folder. B. Creating a second copy on another storage device. C. Enabling the hidden attribute. D. Creating a desktop shortcut to the file. The correct answer is B, creating a second copy on another storage device. Saving a file in your Documents folder does not make it a backup. Marking it as hidden may make it less visible, but it doesn't protect the file. A desktop shortcut just points to the original file. It doesn't create another copy. A backup means that a separate copy exists somewhere else, at least 2 copies of anything that's important. Now, that could be an external drive, such as a flash drive or external storage drive, a network-attached storage device, another computer, or even a reputable cloud service. Because if the only copy of a file only exists on one device, it's not protected. The storage drive could fail, that computer could get stolen, malware could damage or encrypt those files, someone could delete them accidentally. So that completes the first quiz in this series of 5. How well did you do? Did you get all 20? So let's evaluate your score. 0 to 5 points, you're a computer beginner. You're at the beginning of the learning process, and that is nothing to be embarrassed about. Every experienced computer user started literally exactly where you are. 6 to 10 points, you are a developing computer user. You already understand several basic concepts, and now you have a foundation that you can build upon. 11 to 15 points, you are a comfortable computer user. You know considerably more than someone who is truly computer illiterate. You may not understand every technical detail, but you do understand many of the concepts required for everyday basic computer use. If you scored 16 to 18 points, I'd call you computer savvy. You now have a strong understanding of basic hardware, software, security, and troubleshooting. You probably help other people with their computers more than you admit. If you scored 19 to 20 points, I'd call you a beginner level computer expert. You either have excellent general computer knowledge or you've been secretly studying for my quiz. But don't get too confident yet. I got 80 more questions coming. This was only part 1, and the questions get much more challenging as the series continues. So post your score out of 20 in the comments below. And please be honest, I'm especially interested to see those people that consider themselves computer illiterate but actually scored more than 10 points in this quiz. And tell me which question, if any, surprised you or taught you something you didn't know. In part 2 of the series, we're going to move beyond the basics. We're going to start testing your knowledge of Windows, computer maintenance, common terminology, storage, security, and troubleshooting. But the difficulty is going up. So if you haven't done so yet, make sure you click subscribe so you'll get notified when part 2 of our 5-part series comes out. And if it's already been released, I'll put the link to this playlist down in the pinned comment below. My name is Scott Merrill. This is Ask Your Computer Guy. As always, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.